So we're looking for all numbers evenly divisible from 1 to 20. So how would we do that? Let's think about this. Let's think about the number 1. So 1, if we're looking for all the numbers divisible from 1 to 1, the number would just be 1. Same with 2. What about 3? So the numbers from 1 to 3, we multiply this number by 3, so we're saying 1 times 2 times 3 is 6. Now we get to 4 and things change a little bit. We could say 4 times 6 is 24. That is divisible by 1, 2, 3, and 4, but we're looking for the smallest number, and that number is actually 12. Now why is that? That's because when we iterate through these numbers, we would see that 4 is divisible by 2. So if we divide 4 by 2, we see that all we need to multiply this number by is 2, and we end up with 12. It's strange. So now we get to 5. 5 is not divisible by any of these numbers, so we will multiply this number by 5. Now we get to another interesting number, 6. 6 is divisible by both 2 and 3. So as we iterate through, this number becomes, it was 6, then we get to 2, it becomes 3, then we get to 3, it becomes 1, and you'll see that we remain at 60. So the smallest number that is divisible by the numbers from 1 to 6 is 60. Let's implement this in code. Smallest multiple is a function. It takes an argument of n. So let's get this side, the multipliers, represented as an array. It's an array, and we're going to say, okay, for var for let I equal 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, and this will iterate through all numbers from 1 to n. So if it's 20, it's 1 to n. And we're going to say, okay, multiples, let's make that plural. So okay, we're going to say if if you get a remainder when you divide I by the multiple, so we're basically saying if I is divisible by one of the numbers in the array, we are going to say I divided by we're going to say I is equal to I divided by the multiple. But we can't use I in this situation. We need to use a different number. So we're going to say let new mult is equal to I, and then we will just replace this. Great. Okay, it didn't work. Why is that? Well, because we forgot to push the new multiple. So let's check this out. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 1. Let's see how that stacks up against these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 1. Now what did we do here? At the end, we multiplied the number by the multiplier. So 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. You get the point. So instead of returning the mult, what we're going to do is return mult.reduce. And we're going to say product is equal to 1. We're going to say mult product times equals mult. If you don't understand reduce or the arrow functions, you may want to look it up, but let's check it out. And that's the right answer. Okay, so we used 3 different types of loops in this. Why did we use 3 different types of loops? Well, the first one was a for loop, and we were iterating through all of the numbers from 1 to 20. I would say this is a great use case for a for loop. You can also use a for loop to iterate through an array, but this is the most basic use case. You want every number from 1 to n. You used the for loop to do that. Okay, for each. For each is great when you want to spit out every element from an array, but you don't want to do anything to that element. So a map function is different from for each in that a map generates a new array. So if we wanted to update the elements in the array, which we don't in this case, we would use map. But since we don't want to update them, we use for each to iterate through every element in the array and do something with it. So then at the end we use a reduce. Reduce is great if you want to spit out one element at the end. So if you want to come up with the product of every element in an array, reduce is perfect. If you want the total or the sum of every element in an array, reduce is great. If you want the lowest, the highest value in an array, again, reduce is great anytime you want to spit out one value. So that's that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it.